Follow the channel a lot, you know I really do like to fish that low tide up for a lot of venues, particularly here, because you can see it's a flat sandy beach, just goes on for miles and miles, this sand. We've still got quite a bit of a walk before we get to the mark we're fishing today, but I always have to try and relax a little bit before I start fishing. Sometimes you can rush to the venue, get all excited, especially if other people are there and they're catching. It's nice to allow yourself a little bit more time, especially when I'm filming as well. Of course, you need to set up the cameras and what have you, so try and keep these off the sand, you see. It's not the best tides and it's not the best time. The only thing we've got going in our favour is a flooding tide. So I want to show you something in daylight really, but we might come back when it's dark. But I think when it's dark we might see the fish, but let's find out. Yeah, because we're walking back with the tide, we want these to keep the rod butts off the sand. It's just easier to walk it back really. Bait in first, then we're in, and we've started. So it's quite a shallow beach here, so I'm going to have to wade out a little bit. I'll tell you what, I forgot my something important. And guess what it is? Yeah, this casting glove. Someone asked if I used a cannon. A cannon is a little clip that releases the line, so you're not putting your fingers on it, but I find this a little bit better feel to it. And then I want the drop a little bit shorter, because obviously when we do get out here, there's a sandbank here. Now if I remember, there's another sandbank. Set this other rod up. Wind's picking up a little bit. Look at that. Lots of cockles. Now they can be useful as a bait. So I'm not sure if I want to keep some of those, but definitely meat in these, I think. So these thornback rays come here to breed, not necessarily to feed. Generally I've found that they feed best just before it gets dark, so they've done the breeding bit during the day and then they feed up overnight. I think that's how it works. So it's tough. It's going to be quite hard to pick one out in daylight. When if they are here, they're possibly breeding anyway. No time for food. I don't think that ray like the spikes, because they'll come along and they'll sit close to the bait, and these things jabbing up, maybe tangling the line, are not good. So we want a big distance between that lead and the hook bait. So first things first, we're using this long pulley rig, but also I'm just going to disengage those grip leads on one of the rods. I suppose I do assume a little bit of knowledge on the channel, but if you are new to sea fishing, this switch here is called the anti-reverse switch, and it basically locks the bail arm, or the actual bail itself, from moving round. And also, if you've cast out, if you leave that loose, then you're going to lose a load of line, get loads of slack line, leads to lots of problems. And then also on the top of the spool, this is the drag adjustment here. And you turn it to the right to tighten it up, and then to the left to loosen it a bit. You don't use the drag much on this sort of beach fishing, maybe for a smooth one. Worth watching out for that T section as well on here. It can get really sharp. You could either put some tape on it, or just slide up the cups on the tripod. Just something to watch out for. Don't want to lose a big fish to frayed line. Well, it looks quite barren out there, doesn't it? It is a flat sandy beach with no sort of shingle until you get up the beach a little bit. So you're sort of relying on offshore features bringing the fish in, and also the sandbanks as well, so water speeds up near the sandbanks. Right, let's have a look how we prepared some of these baits ahead of time. So all sorts of fish bait's going to work for where we're going. This is bluey. It's a little bit pongier, I suppose, than mackerel. Blast frozen, which basically means it gets frozen quickly, otherwise it goes all mushy. Here's some. So usually with that blast freezing, keeps them in pretty good conditions, second only to fresh. So having a look through here, we're just going to make some up with the mackerel, some up with the bluey, whatever these are. Little herring, are they? I don't know. And an important thing is the bait elastic. So we're going to use a variety of pulley rigs here. Some are pulley pennels. Pulley pennel means the two hooks. We're going to give these rays every chance of hooking themselves and make sure that that hook point is proud of the bait. So we'll start off with some bluey on this pulley pennel, this two hook one. We're going to actually put them on the hook before we go fishing, and then they'll just sit in there in the fridge in all the oils and the juices, and then we'll close it up. I'll show you in a minute, but we're going to close it up and then take it with us. So these are two 1/0 hooks, and you need to know what they are size wise, and you can see the sort of size that you'll need of this bluey. And I'm actually going to use the tail section here. This is just one way of doing it. There's lots of different ways. Now it's a lot easier obviously if you're cutting it when it's not frozen. As you can see, you have problems. You can actually push down. Oh, that is solid. Break it up. Right. A lot of the time when you're casting, the tail's going to spin around, so I'm going to get rid of that. And what we're going to want is this bit here, the thinner bit, being towards the hook point. So when it's going on like that. Does that make sense? So that way, if you did it the other way round, you can mask that hook point. So we want to give them a chance. And then this second hook here, is going to clip on and hold it at the top. So it's a lot easier to do this obviously when the bait isn't frozen. So if it is frozen, you want to get the hook through. Another thing I've done in the past is drilling through. You will it does put a nice hole through there. Obviously you've got to be careful of your hands when you're drilling it. You might want to use pliers around there. But what that basically means, it might be enough to get that hook through and put some bend in that. You got to almost squeeze it on. You can vary it, you know, you can take the meat up onto here. You can use circle hooks on that top one as well. But one of those is going to hook it, I'm sure of it. So we put that in a box. And that's going to sit with a load of juices overnight. I'm just going to take always cut away. This one's going to be half a bluey. I'm just going to cut this and then do the same with the mackerel. I just want to vary it a little bit. I don't know if it makes much difference whether it's mackerel or bluey, but the same sort of cut with the mackerel. Try and keep it as neat as possible because we're going to be fishing at night as well. It's good to have these rigs ready to go pre-baited. One right-handed, so sometimes you can double up on the line. I'm taking 2 pieces of that bait elastic round. Obviously taking half as long. Cross it over each other, left and right. And in effect, you're just sort of sewing this up, aren't you? And then to break it, if you put your finger on it like that and pull it rather than pull into the actual bait. So we're getting there. You see there, that's got the guts and stuff in there. It's quite juicy, isn't it? Now it's made it a bit softer, that long shank. A slightly smaller bait on there, that'll give us another option. So that's the rig sort of situation. Let's go back now to the venue. This is me last night. Let's go back to now. What we're looking for in terms of a bite indication is more of a pull on the line or a weight on the line. Those little taps there are the surf, the wave pushing that braid around. I'm going to put this one over to the left, but the same sort of distance really. It looks like there is a sandbank here, and I want to get it over that sandbank into that deeper water, and then it will come back. As the tide comes back, we'll be right on the sandbank. So over there, see how we go. Now, these are 5 foot traces, so it means the distance between the lead and the bait, once that lands in there and unclips, is about 5 foot, and I want to really get that lead a long way away from the bait. I should be able to do it. It's that time again, we're not catching any fish. I've given the reasons why I don't think we're going to catch. I've given the reasons why it's going to be harder to catch today. Simply these fish feed more at night on the bigger tides, and it's day on a smaller tide. But they should be here now. They should be here in March. I've still got a bit of hope. So have you been out fishing? What have you been up to? Do share it in the comments. Smaller fish have been eating that, and I think that is the thing with fishing, isn't it? Sometimes you put in all this effort, we made all that bait up, I've been backing off with the tide, so I'm really sorry, it's a blank. I really did my best to try and get a fish on film for you today. It just wasn't to be. I keep saying it, but I think night time is best for these ray. That's when they really start to feed. Check out this video here where we do manage to catch. The wind's picking up now. That's fishing. Thanks for watching.